Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we've got a bit of a news roundup for you. We'll be covering Dafran officially being confirmed as part of the Atlanta Reign roster for Overwatch League Season 2, a potential leak about the content we'll be getting at Blizzcon this year, and Team South Korea's less than ideal preparation for the Overwatch World Cup. There's quite a lot to get through, so let's just crack on. First up, let's cover those potential BlizzCon leaks. Yesterday, there was a Reddit thread posted by the user Tryferg which supposedly contained leaks for the upcoming BlizzCon content from a message board. Now, Tryferg was quick to qualify that this could be fake, and that's a risk with any potential leaks, especially ones posted so close to an actual event, as there isn't really time to check them, but they did think that it was worthy of discussion. The leaks made reference to a cinematic with McCree, Reaper, Sombra and Nemesis. That Hero 29 would be that Nemesis character, who is a cyborg with a railgun. Their apparent kit would include high jumps, electric nets, regeneration, and their ult would cool down a nuke. Skins were also an element detailed, and the Blizzard theme would return with a Zenyatta Monk, Mercy Spirit Healer, Genji Blademaster, Sorceress Symmetra, Fallen Junkrat, Kerrigan Diva, and a Winston Primal Zerg. But perhaps most shockingly, a story game mode will allegedly be announced. It'll be PvP missions that are not tied to seasonal events, which are unlocked with credits or in new loot boxes. Now that's a lot to take in, so let's deal with each bit separately. First off, a McCree cinematic does seem pretty likely. He's in the key art for BlizzCon, etc. We've talked about it a lot. I also made the case for Reaper being in it too, as their relationship is quite important. That part doesn't seem like a stretch. The Hero 29 part, however, has the whiff of complete fantasy, and I'll explain why. Firstly, Nemesis is kind of a generic name for a start, and their kit, a railgun, which I actually kind of like the sound of, makes me think of Quake, super jumps and electric nets, presumably in the form of some sort of trap, actually seems a little bit feasible, but I'll ask you this question. How likely is it that Blizzard, of all people, put a nuke in the game? Like it's 2010 and we're all playing Modern Warfare 2. That bit really makes me doubt the whole thing. I said in a previous video, perhaps Hero 29 is a Deadlock Gang weapon specialist whose ult could be like a Predator missile. It's not that different, but the fact that the poster says nuke just makes me think, nah, that's way off base for the sensibility of the game. Overwatch is a bright game with colourful characters, even the evil ones aren't that dark. What would a nuke do? Just kill everyone on the map? Somehow I can't see any of the heroes having voice lines like, "Enemy tactical nuke inbound, it's all over!" It doesn't quite fit, does it? The Blizzard-themed skins is something that I can see in principle. Obviously, we've made the case before, but there's almost no limit to what heroes could get what, so evaluating the veracity of any of the ones mentioned is kind of difficult. I'd still take a Monk Zenyatta and a Kerrigan Diva though. The fact that there's no Jim Raynor McCree mention makes me hope that it's all fake anyway. But the last part, the story mode part, really makes me go, this is totally fake. We all know that the Overwatch community wants a story campaign. That's not the suspect bit. It's how this new content is apparently going to be attained that's really off base. You have to unlock the missions with credits or from loot boxes. I'm sorry, what? If that happened, the community would riot and Jeff would have to be rushed off the stage as people at BlizzCon would be booing loudly and throwing food. That's what I want Blizzard, to have to gamble for new content. Not just skins, by the way, which are optional, but core gameplay experiences. While they're at it, why not just make Hero 29 only unlockable in loot boxes too? That is not going to happen. Blizzard would never paywall new core content like that. They might have an upfront fee, like for an expansion per se, but credits? Nah fam, that's the fakest thing I've ever heard. I'll open the floor to you guys, what do you think? Am I just way off base here? I really don't think I am. Like I said, there's some parts about the Hero 29 bit that I actually do like. A railgun does sound cool, and a new cyborg or omnic hero would probably be a welcome addition to the game. It's just some other facets of the leak that really makes me believe it's not true. Next up, we've got the news that Dafran is actually officially an Overwatch League player. Now, back when we reported on this perhaps being a thing, it seemed much less clear if it would ever happen. Dafran has had many issues with being banned sporadically, toxic behaviour in ranked, which we know Blizzard hate, and the player himself actually denied it for quite a long time. Well, it turns out the jebait was on so many levels, it's no wonder people took the announcement with some surprise. Yesterday, the Atlanta Reign released their roster, and it was made up of players with varying levels of experience. Side note, if you want to find out more about the roster, ZP wrote an excellent article about them, which I'll link to you in the description box below. At the end of the video, it seemed as if the Dafran signing was just a rumour after all, as he wasn't shown. But then, Atlanta pulled off a really hype piece of marketing out of their pockets. Just as the video ended, it seemed to get hacked and a final player was revealed. That player was Dafran, and someone at Atlanta must have a great sense of humour because the picture they used for him is a hilariously young version of him. Either he had something to do with it, which wouldn't surprise me, or they just really understand Dafran's fanbase. Suffice to say, the internet went a bit mad as the great jebait saga came to its satisfying conclusion. Dafran himself said on Twitter, "We in Overwatch League, joining Atlanta Reign, very excited for this, gonna be great." Now, I understand that his signing will create some controversy. He has had very well documented problems with behaviour in the past, and that has led some to ask the question if he even deserves a spot in the league in the first place. ZP also noted in his article that Atlanta were taking a gamble on him, as he hasn't really shown any firm proof that he can deal effectively with a full professional season. Those questions are legitimate, but just like I said in our previous videos about the subject, I believe in second chances, and I believe that his talent makes it worth the risk. The simple fact is, he's moving to a new country and being placed in a professional setup. It's not like his days of playing in Selfless. Hopefully he will have the support structures in place to help him cope with what will be, I'm sure, quite a shock to the system. He's going from just streaming, a context that he's in full control of, to having responsibilities to his org and his teammates. I think one thing working in his favour is that for Season 2, Blizzard have changed the schedule to be more player friendly, with them playing less games per week. The first season saw many problems with many different players struggling to cope with the conditions, Dallas Fuel's effect being a prominent example. I personally wish him the best, but I think it's pertinent just at the end here to talk about audience expectations. Most likely, because of his hero pool and the other players signed, Dafran will be an impact substitute player. The other DPS they signed in Ersta and Enlia have the projectile and Widowmaker bases covered. Dafran's best heroes in Tracer and Soldier are not what you could call meta right now and don't look to be by the time Season 2 rolls around. I expect him to widen his pool as a pro, as he's so mechanically gifted, but still, I think he's going to be used sparingly, at least at first. Maybe he's going to be the team's Torb specialist. You might laugh, but Torb in the right places is going to be pretty scary, so anything's possible. My brain can't quite deal with the amount of meme in that possible reality, but one thing's for sure, all eyes will be on Atlanta come February. Let me know how you guys feel about the Dafran signing below. Are you like me and excited to see him realise his potential, or do you think he's too much of a gamble and the decision will backfire for all parties involved? Next, we've got an Overwatch World Cup story to finish up with. Apparently, the South Korean coach, YBT, has some concerns about the state of the team heading into the playoffs at BlizzCon. This info comes from a stream, which had to be translated from a summary on a Korean forum, and it was linked on Reddit by a user called Bartlett for Us. So according to the translation, South Korea is severely lacking in team practice. Fate is in the USA, so has some serious ping issues in scrims, and Fury has been in the UK, so hasn't been screaming at all with the rest of the team. Team South Korea has only had 3 days internal testing and has had to use substitute players like Meko for Fury in scrim blocks. YBT says that Team USA have been practicing together for months by comparison, and that the only full team practice Team South Korea will get starts just 3 days before their potential matchup in the semis. Suffice to say, he thinks the USA have some advantages going in, and that the match will be much harder than previous years. Well, that's good or bad news depending on your point of view, I guess. Team USA is highly rated anyway, and Team Finland very nearly beat South Korea in an epic all-time great qualifying match. If I had to guess, most fans would like to see a team seriously challenge South Korea's dominance at BlizzCon, and if it's the USA in the USA, expect that stadium to be completely rocking. Now, as a fan, I hope South Korea live up to their reputation. It's not an overstatement to say that they have the most top-tier players in the world, and my favourite player, Jonak, is obviously on that team. I just want to see the best matches possible, irrespective of who wins, and to be fair, if Team USA did beat South Korea, then we could get the grudge match replay versus Canada in the final. XQC and the rest of the Canadian players, I'm sure, are hoping that's what happens. I know a lot of our audience hails from the States, so be sure to put in the comments what you think about this news. Is it Korean sandbagging, or genuine concern for lack of team practice? Have your say down below. And that's about it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another video of ours again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in great company. And finally, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter, where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.